Hello, welcome back. So the last session, our party suffered the first party wipe of my first playthrough of Baldur's Gate 2. Um, Kind of came out of the blue a bit because up to now our encounters have been reasonably smooth. We've been ambushed a couple of times, and even without proper preparation, we were able to handle those reasonably well. So this encounter with the UNT mage kind of came out of the blue. And also the trolls themselves have not been particularly easy. Obviously Anomen was pretty badly wounded, and we sent him back, which turned out to be a good decision because Nalia has actually provided some useful information, which we probably would not have gotten otherwise. Um, but yeah, so because I'm finding this quest slightly harder than I anticipated, I actually stopped and did some research on trolls and on level 5 and 6 mage spells. So on the trolls, I was slightly concerned to discover that there are other forms of trolls beyond just the standard troll, the ice troll. There's also something called a spectral troll, and I think giant trolls also regenerate. So that could be a problem depending on how fast they regenerate. Because we've seen one of them before in the courtyard, and we killed it reasonably easily. Well, I wouldn't say easily, but we killed it. And but I was just wondering if we got lucky because there was a group of Dainese guards helping out at the same time. And because I remember that in Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, I had a major problem with the greater wolf wearers. So those trolls regenerate, the giant trolls, I mean, regenerate at any sort of rate close to the great wolf wearers. We're going to have a problem because even though we've leveled up a few times in this playthrough, I think my party is still significantly weaker than it was when it completed the Tales of the Sword Coast. Yeah, I mean, just looking at things like armor class, I mean, this is with a ghost armor spell. But yeah, armor class wise, I think Jim was able to achieve -8 in Tales of the Sword Coast. So, I mean, especially in terms of gear, I mean, our core stats might have improved a bit, but in terms of gear, we are well below what we had with Baldur's Gate in Enhanced Edition. So yeah, I've done some research on trolls, and I've also done some research on the spells because I noticed the anti-mage cast what do you call it? A few spells that I hadn't seen before. So apparently I should look for breach because that would be useful for taking down the sort of defenses that he used. Spell deflection, I think, minor spell deflection, I think it was. I might actually have already learned breach. Or maybe not. But yeah, it looks like that's one of the spells we'll need to memorize. If we have it already. I don't think we do. And apparently Hold Monster isn't actually very useful. So we actually do have this spell, but I'm not very good at defensive and protective spells like this because I'm not really sure when you're meant to cast them. Take for example, we suffered quite badly with when the enemy cast Chaos. That was probably the main thing that caused the party wipe in the first place. Oh, actually, no, sorry, I was looking at area. Okay, so Jin does actually have Bleach already, so we might memorize that next time we rest. But yeah, Eri has not much. Okay, so yeah, we do have Chaos. Oh, and I think Nalia is Chaos. So we were quite badly messed up by Chaos, and I know there's a spell called I think it's a pre-spell, Command Chaos or something like that, which presumably protects against that. But my problem with using it, things like that, is I think it only protects one party member. So it seems a bit of a waste of a spell slot for learning something that only protects one of your NPCs, or yourself, I suppose, and you're not even sure if it will be used, and you have to time it appropriately because, you know, it's, I mean, unless if you know they will definitely cast something like Chaos, it doesn't seem very feasible to time it properly. There we go, Chaotic Commands. Okay. Yeah. Renders a creature immune to magical command, suggestion, charm. Yeah, so the sort of things that really get me into trouble. It only protects one creature. That's my main problem with this spell. Um, but actually the duration is not so bad. So I guess if we know we're fighting a mage who will probably use this. And this is the other issue I sometimes have with the combat system. Because I think the enemies usually do something similar every time. So, you know, if you know they will cast chaos or horror or confusion, although I don't think this actually helps against horror, I'm not sure. Um, but if you know they will cast confusion, then, you know, this does kind of make sense. You could buff up one person to take out the mage with chaotic commands protection. But if you think about it, if you play this realistically and you just stumble into the room like I did the first time, you have no idea how high level that mage is or what sort of tactics he'll use. Although I should have had a hint the moment he used contingency, because that's level 6, so that should have been a good sign that he was certainly higher level than all the casters we have. But yeah, I'm still very much learning my way around this magic system. Very interesting, very challenging. I get the feeling I'm not using a lot of my characters to their full potential. Like I hardly ever, apart from Jin, I hardly even look at what their special abilities are.
I punch.
So I've tried Berserk for Minsk, but the only time I tried it, it ended up badly. I think I used it against oh, I can't remember. It might have been against Battle Horrors in the in Durdak's Tower, and he killed the Battle Horror, turned around and pretty much slaughtered my party, or at least forced us to run away for quite a while. So I don't really know how I meant to use this Berserk ability.
What do you
And
mean?
the charm
Not words.
has proved completely useless because A, it seems to be saved most of the time, and B, he has to go right up to the thing to try and charm it. So even with neutral creatures like a grizzly bear or a brown bear, you know, quite often I've told Miz to try and charm one, just to try, see how it works. And it turns hostile when Miz gets close and bites him. So that's one I've hardly ever used.
You require my counsel, yes?
I read up on the kits a bit, and apparently the bounty hunter is quite good at traps. But I've never tried traps, so again, I'm not sure how you're meant to use this, because presumably you cannot set traps when he's hidden. So, and the act of setting a trap, yeah. So I guess you have to set the traps in anticipation of a battle, and then maybe lure the enemy towards the traps. Something I might try at some stage.
I'll help however I
Eri
can.
has no special abilities. Okay, these are so she can turn herself into a brown bear. Wolf, that doesn't seem very strong. Or black bear, so I think the strongest one would be a brown bear, but even that brown bear I think is probably weaker than Jahira's sort of core stats. So that I don't think that's very useful.
How can I help?
Okay, she can also set traps, but only one, right. Okay, so at some stage I probably need to rest and look at my spellbook again. So that was just to explain what I've done since the last session. I guess this time, first I'll
On
heal
my
up.
honor.
What can I do?
First I'll heal up and see, maybe explore a bit more, and then probably we need to rest somewhere, and look at
This is a lot
spells.
more exciting than any circus.
So I do think this will be quite a bit harder than what we've done thus far. So I'm acutely aware we've not even sort of come across, we've not even reached the cellar, and I'm certain where where the biggest challenges will be.
Yes.
This feels like the prelude to something much worse, and the prelude has already caused us quite a bit of problems. I think I've run out of healing.
I await your need.
Yeah, I prefer to use spells like this in between battles as opposed to during it, because healing kind of takes out one person from doing anything else useful. And the spells, apart from cure
What is my
critical
task?
wounds,
It shall be.
don't really heal enough to justify doing it in the middle of battle. I think we already checked here, but just to be sure I haven't missed anything. Oh, that leads somewhere. Okay. Just check the map. Stairs to the roof. Might explore the roof later. Stairs to the first floor. That's where we came up. Let me just check my inventory so
On
that...
my honor.
Just to check I haven't missed any items that we picked up. Arrows of fire. Guess we'll give Minz the opportunity to finish off a troll as well. Yeah, perfect. So I remember some of this. This is the master key to Narnia's keep. It should open most of the doors in the fortress. That's useful. And this is the flail head. Detect illusion. Now, who should use detect illusion? Probably Ari. She's more of a support role, I guess. But again, I'd rather give her a potion of genius before we try that. Try to learn the spells I want her to learn. Okay. Just bear in mind that Narnia doesn't have a lot of inventory right now. Yeah, that's crossbow bolts. Okay, here we picked up the dagger. Dagger plus 2. So she's using the short sword. I don't think anyone actually uses a dagger here. Certainly not Minsk with his massive knife. Okay, apparently these things are pretty useless. But I might have this. I might sell those less elemental scrolls, or we might learn it for the experience.
What do you
But
require?
I'm guessing now we can actually enter these rooms that were closed off to us before.
Consider it done.
We do need to rest pretty soon because we're running out of
Where shall I display my skill in
armor
it?
spells
I can
and
dance on the head of a pin as well.
magic missiles. Because this area is very confined, so it's not ideal for AOE spells. Okay. Yeah,
Yes?
I don't think there's any more armor spells left.
What is my task?
Okay. You know what, this room is small and I think we can close the door, so
On my honor.
I'll probably rest here.
I will do my best.